everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Amanda Ostrander. I'm a teacher-turned-homeschool mom, and this is Raising A to Z, a place where we talk about all things homeschooling. And today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my favorite board games. So last week I did a whole video on board games, specifically math, number, concepts, kind of board games. Board games that are really going to reinforce those math skills, multiplication, division, area, money, like those kinds of games. Did a whole video on that last week. But that's not all my board games. And as a person who loves board games, and our family loves board games, and we play a lot of board games, I have more board games to share. I've said board games a lot now, haven't I? Anyway, I thought I would do a little haul on board games that are both kind of more language-based board games that have like educational language type games, as well as board games that are also have some educational value, whether it is like cooperation, whether it is deduction, those kinds of things, kind of more logic-based board games. Cool? So let's jump in. Let's get started right away. Let's start with some language games. If I didn't start the language-based section with the most logical word game ever, that would be a crime. And so to start off with, I have Scrabble. Scrabble is great. We can't deny the word power that comes with the game of Scrabble. Okay, so Scrabble is fantastic. It is so much fun. But if you have younger kids and you're like, they just can't play Scrabble, might I suggest Scrabble Jr. This one is rated ages 5 and up. You could probably play this with younger kids, although it might take a little longer. They might not have the attention span if you're playing with like a 3 or 4-year-old, but they could probably do it. The nice thing about Scrabble Jr. is that rather than making words, you're filling in the blanks using letters. So you're matching letters on the board to the letters that you have in your hand. And every time you score a word, you move your little token around the board. If it is a word that has your color around it, you get bonus points. So the point is, at the end of the game, once all the tokens are gone, so all the letter tiles are gone, whoever has gotten the farthest around the board in terms of points wins. So it does take out the having to spell the words element, and it kind of focuses more so on like the simplicity of matching letters and what letters sound like and that kind of stuff. So you are definitely still getting, with the Scrabble Jr., a word education, like letters. You're still working on letter skills. The nice thing is if you flip the board over, it is a basic letter board on the other side. It does not have like the double word play and the double letter score and all of that, because there's no scores on the tiles, but you could very easily score it as for every word you complete, you get 1 point, right? So you're kind of getting almost 2 games out of 1 with the Scrabble Jr. Now, if your kids were older, you could play True Scrabble. True Scrabble, I would recommend for ages like 10 and up, maybe even 12 and up, because you do need to have a certain level of spelling ability, and maybe even 10 and up. I think 10 and up would be pretty fair. Spelling ability to play and a certain vocabulary to play in order to use your letters appropriately. And I will say, like, it obviously would not be fair for me to play against Alexi at this point. You know what I mean? But regular Scrabble would be a great option if you have older kids. But Scrabble is just classic word game. But it's not very travel friendly, which is kind of the one bummer with Scrabble. If you love Scrabble, if you want something more travel friendly, I suggest Bananagrams. So the way Bananagram works is you have these little tiles. They do not have points on them like Scrabble tiles do. You have the little tiles, and then you have to make words. So when it is your turn, you are trying to kind of make your own Scrabble board game as quickly as you can. Obviously, we're like doing spelling, we're doing letters. You're working with the letters that are in your hand. So like lots of skills are happening. Letter skills, language skills, spelling skills. The other nice thing about Bananagrams is there are other ways to play. On the back of the Bananagrams instructions, so here's like this standard Bananagram game. On the back, it has 4 different versions, like other games, so that you can play with the same tiles. So that's one game that you can play 5 ways. And so there's lots of different ways, like biggest word out of the tiles that you have. So there's all different kinds of games. And I love that, because if you're going to invest in a game, it's always nice when you have a game that has multiple options of play with it. And that is what you're going to get with Bananagrams. But the other thing with Bananagrams, it's very portable. It's very easy to take with you. It's gone to the coffee shop a couple times. It doesn't need as much space. It doesn't need a board. You can just work wherever you are. So nice, compact, portable game. It does have lots of pieces. Beware of that. So probably not for kids putting things in their mouth, but a great option nonetheless. Next game on my list. Pickles to Penguins, the game that is all about making connections. We're going to get into games that are more talking games rather than like letter games, because I think a lot of people miss some of the things that happen when we're talking language arts. We're not just talking about spelling. We are talking about reading ability. We're talking about making connections. We're talking about word association, like all those kinds of things. So this is what this game is. It's all about making connections. So you're taking the cards and you're trying to make connections between the different cards in your hand that are 2-sided, by the way, and the different things that are being played. So for example, if someone puts down an airplane, you might put down, say, lawnmower goes on airplane because airplanes have engines, and so do lawnmowers. Right? And it has to be general to, okay? So then you might say lawnmowers have wheels, so do police cars. Okay? And then your next one would have to be police cars have bars, so do shopping carts. There's like metal bars and shopping carts. Okay? And so we're making connections. Things that you cannot use to make a connection. You cannot use the color of the picture, and you cannot use the first letter, which makes it much, much more tricky. And so you're trying to get rid of your cards as quickly as you can. And it is a great game for like figuring out how things are connected and what is the best connection that you can make, because you can also play multiple cards. So you're like, this is connected to this, which is connected to this, which is connected to this, and then you're out of cards. Because every time you play, you also have to pick up a card. So if you can play 4 cards all at once, that's less cards in your hand and you're more likely to win. It says ages 8 and up. We've played quite successfully with much younger kids. Their connections obviously aren't as far-fetched as some of the older ones, because we can be a little bit more creative. We know a little bit more about things, but they can definitely play when they're younger. We really enjoy Pickles to Penguins. And we played it quite easily with new people. I find sometimes you have a board game and you can't explain it. Like by the time you explain it, it's like too complicated. This we've picked up and explained to someone in 2 minutes and started playing. Easy, fun, but also like somewhat challenging, which is always something fun in a game. This game, it's called Kids Against Maturity. Similar to Cards Against Humanity for adults, this is like a kids-friendly version. And I was not anticipating this being as fun as it was, and I wasn't anticipating our kids enjoying it as much as they do. It is very much a game that is great for reading, because you have to, the person who is there, like when it's their turn, they have to read the cards and the prompt and so on and so forth. So it's a great reading game, and because the kids are reading, they think it's absolutely hilarious. And they're making the most ridiculous connections ever, right? So like that is true. They love the game. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of cards. It's fantastic. Now, we love this game. We took it camping with us actually this summer, and I had, our niece was with us, and she was very reluctant to play board games with us because we're like, well, what are we going to do in the evening? It was a small campground. Once, we were back at the campsite, what were we going to do? We brought some board games and she was like not into any of them. And then we pulled this game out and she was like, ooh, that's my jam. So she played and absolutely loved it. It has 600 cards is what it says. It says ages 4 and up. It takes anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes you could just say whoever gets the so many cards wins, like first person to 5 and make it shorter, right? Very, very easy. We really loved it. The only thing that I will say is I don't know who made these cards. There was a small stack of cards that I went through and I removed. Some of them I just thought were like not appropriate. And it actually wasn't even the question cards. It was like the suggestion cards, like the little prompts. Some of them I took out because I didn't think they were like appropriate. Like awkwardly making eye contact while my doctor puts on his rubber gloves. I don't know what parent would approve of that. There was also like a disturbing amount of poop related ones. Like I would say there's probably a dozen that I was like, well, that's not really appropriate. Or, you know, and everyone's going to have different levels of appropriateness, whatever. This many cards are poop cards about poop. And here's the thing. I left some poop cards in the deck. So like, cause like, I'm like, at some point, poop is not funny anymore. When everyone's pulling 3 or 4 poop cards per round, this is getting ridiculous. So my recommendation is before you play the game is to go through and read the cards and take out anything you think is inappropriate. Because everyone's going to have different levels of what is appropriate. Somebody might think that's hilarious and somebody might not. And also like age-wise, your older kids might find something totally fine because they get it and younger kids might not. But like I said, for me, it was like we played it twice over like camping. And the second time I went through and took out like 3/4 of the poop jokes because it was getting absolutely, and my kid, like to the point where my kids were like, we didn't even know there were this many poop jokes to exist in the world. So, you know, that would probably be my one downside with the game is like, please prep it, like go through and check it out. But otherwise, great reading game, lots of fun. The kids thought it was hilarious. The combinations you come up with are fantastic. No effort, like you just pick, like everyone understands it within 2 seconds. And it, like I said, it's great around a campfire, great for family occasions. You can play with multiple people. Like this deck recommends, how many people does it say? It says ages 10 and up. Like I said, we were playing with like 7-year-olds, no problem. It says 4 or more players. You can play with less. You can play with, 6, 7, 8 players. So it's a nice game for kind of any situation. But just check it before you hand it out. You know what I'm saying? As you should with any game like that. Some of them are just like, people sometimes push things too far. Anyway, so those are the games that I would say are like my favorite language-based games. But that doesn't mean that the next games I have are not like reading, educational. There's a lot of different things that are going to be learned in these next sections of games. They're going to focus on like deduction, lots of reading skills, strategy, logic, starting with a classic deduction game, Clue. Don't go with the Clue Jr. Clue Jr. is not worth it. We've played it. It is not worth the $20, especially when Clue goes on sale for $20. If your kids are afraid of murder, sorry. Zoe loves this game. Again, Zoe is my youngest. She is 8. She's probably my more reluctant game player in our house. She has been playing this game with assistance since she was about 5. She absolutely loves it. Although she was my kid who went through a phase and thought saying the word murder was fun. So to each their own, right? We do enjoy the game. The amount of reading that goes into it when you're trying to like play the different characters and figure out like getting to the right room, because you have to be in the room to guess that was where the murder happened. Trying to figure out what's the most logical way to get there, to figure out all the clues is fantastic. Both my kids love this game. The deduction, the reasoning, the reading skills that you need are fantastic. But they also do have like pictures. So it does lower the reading requirement, but it's still there because the clue paper does not have, like the page that you check off does not have pictures. Great game. Like when I was pulling out board games, my kids were like, you're putting Clue in, right? And I was like, of course. We love it. It's a great deduction game. It's a great game for trying to figure out things based on the information, which is always kind of like a reading between the lines kind of situation, keeping track of stuff. Also of like how to use, like making notes and stuff like that. Excellent game. Tons of logic, and my kids absolutely love it. This game I can't actually give you. I can't take it out of the box. This is one of our Christmas presents I've seen that we picked up. This is Art Society. So like I said, I am buying games for Christmas. We usually give our kids 1 to 2 games during the holidays for our collection. And this is one of the 2 games that we are going to be giving them. So Art Society, essentially, you are trying to build your greatest art collection. And you have a board. Everyone has a board. The pieces of art are put out and you have to bid on them. And highest bid wins different pieces. And then you're trying to build your collection within the frame. So some of the pieces are 2 blocks by 4 blocks. Some of them are like 2 by 2. Some of them are like 1 by 3. Like they're all different sizes, and you're trying to build the best art collection, and each piece has different point values. So you have the keeping track of your point pieces. You're trying to use like spatial awareness. So it does have some like math elements as well, but there's the bidding. And then the other like fun part is it's all actual like famous paintings, but they like tweak them. So like, it'll be like, think of like Mona Lisa with a hat, or, another one that they have here is like the girl with the pearl earring. She's like making a different face, right? So there's like, that's also like another fun element. So we're doing a little bit of history, a little bit of art, but we're also doing a lot of like reading, logic skills, making decisions, and it's got a little bit of math in there. So this is one that's going to my kids. I picked this up. This one went on sale at Indigo a couple months ago, like 2 months ago. So it's been hiding in my closet because I got it for $20 off, which is insane. But this is one of the 2 games they're getting for Christmas. So it's still in the box. The other game they're getting for Christmas, which I will tell you right now, I do not have it because it has not arrived. They're getting Hues and Cues, which is another great language game. In the sense that you are having to describe things, which is a difficult skill. So essentially you're given a color when it's your turn, and you have 3 chances to describe that color in like a short phrase. Like for example, if I said Nemo, finding Nemo, you would look at the board, which is just covered in hues, like in like a rainbow grid of color, and all different shades and, you know, hues of colors, hence the name Hues and Cues. And you're trying to, everyone has 3 chances to place their little token where they think it goes. And at the end, after you've done your 3 times, you might say, okay, finding Nemo. You might, and then say, this, like a citrus fruit. And then you might say a pumpkin. And then people go and they would be like, you put the color that you've picked inside the grid. So it's a 9 by 9 grid. A 3 by 3 grid. So 9 squares. And you put the actual color in the middle, and anybody within here, you get points for it. Right? That is a great game for describing. It is a great game for making connections. It is fantastic. We've played it before. It just has not arrived in the mail yet, unfortunately. But that is also going to be a Christmas present this year. Speaking of Christmas, the most chaotic but so much fun game that we've ever played is Elf. This game, I don't even know. I found it randomly after Christmas at a Chapters one year for like $10. It was like after Christmas clearance, or $12, I think. It was half price. And essentially you have your board. You have these are like the little pieces for the board. You have Buddy the Elf. And every person is given a card that has their goals. This is like so much fun. Okay, so my goal would be I need to go see my Norwal pal. I need to go to the Candy Cane Forest. I need to go get world's best cup of coffee. Okay, those are the 3 things I need to do. And everybody has different goals. Okay, we all good? But everyone is playing the same path. So Buddy the Elf has to travel along the map, and you are only able to use these directional cards to get him to where you need him to go. But you're all moving just Buddy the Elf. So on my turn, I move him this way, and then on your turn, you might move him this way. And then your turn, you're going to move him over here. And so we're all trying to get our goals while using the same token. So it ends up being super chaotic, but it is so fun. And the thing is, like, you can play off of the board. That's like, there's the board. You can play off of the board. There's parts where you're like, if you go through this part, you come back on this side. Like, it is the most chaotic game, but it is so much fun. And it is a great little like holiday game. Like, there are not many holiday games that I'm like, that's a great one. We have like a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer game. It's basically Snakes and Ladders with Rudolph on it. And Snakes and Ladders has no skill. So like, no. This game, it is fun. You have goals. You're sabotaging people. You're trying to get to where you want to go. And it is just so, so much fun. So Buddy the Elf, what's my favorite color? Buddy the Elf, might be my favorite Christmas game. The next two games on here are from the same company, and they are cooperative games. So the 5-minute games are fantastic. So they're both by the same company, if you want to read. We have 5-minute mysteries, and we have 5-minute dungeons. So this one, I'll start with dungeons. 5-minute dungeons is a game where you're trying to, you have a certain, there's different goals, there's different things you need to do every time, but you're all working together. So when I play cards and you play cards, we're trying to get the goal that's on the card, on the main card, finished. Okay. The problem is you are on a very big time crunch. So you can play 5 minutes and try to defeat this person, right? And it'll say to defeat this monster, you need to have this and this and this. And so you're trying to play all your cards to get to those things, but you have to do it all together, and everybody has to take turns, and you're trying to do it on a limited time frame. This is very, very fun. It's very fast paced, and you can play multiple rounds fairly quickly because, again, every round is about 5 minutes, and you just set a timer and go. And the nice thing is, when you're learning this game, there is a little barcode that you can scan to watch how to play. I always love when board games include a video. This one does, of how to play, because it just takes sometimes things just get lost in translation. You know what I'm saying? This one comes with a video. So you can scan the little QR code and it'll take you to the video. And the nice thing is the first couple times we played this, we just set the timer a little bit longer. So we would, instead of setting it for 5 minutes, we would set it for 10. And until we got the hang of it, and we're like, okay, now we know what to do. And then we would set to 5 minutes. So super fun. It does say, it says ages 8 and up. Zoe, we've had it for 2 years, and Zoe plays it with Lexi, no problem. So she was playing at 6, and the best part of it, she's like, Zoe's not a fast paced kid. She doesn't like to move quickly, and she loves this game. So they pull this out and they love to play it all the time. And also this was a great thing because both my kids can play this independently. They'll play it together and they're just like, oh yeah, we got this. And they've been doing that for a long time compared to some of the other games where they're like, we need help. We need the setup. They can't do it yet. They've been playing this game for 2 years by themselves. No problem. Same thing with this one, which is 5-minute mysteries. It also is recommended for ages 8 and up, but they've been playing it very easily for 2 years. Your job is to solve the mystery and decode the codes. And you have this little code breaker thing to figure out the code. You have all the different code cards. You have the culprits. And when you figure out the culprits, you break the codes. It is fast paced. It is fun. The same as dungeons, 5-minute dungeons. But the nice thing about this one is it's more of an observation game, while also being cooperative. So you're trying to look at the different clues and things that are there and solve those things to decode it. A great game. Also, it says ages 8 and up. They've played it very successfully for 2 years. So 6 and up, with no assistance. So love this game as well. And the last game I have on my like logic playing board games that I highly recommend is the Disney Villainous games. There are many versions of the games, which is great. To get the, and there's also a lot of expansion packs, but to get the game started, you do need the original, like one of the original main boxes, and then you can always add expander packs to it. Essentially though, the interesting thing about this game is you're all working towards your own goal. You're trying to do your own thing. So this one has, there's Captain Hook in this one, Prince John from Robin Hood, Maleficent, and Ursula. Okay. So Captain Hook is trying to defeat Peter Pan at the Jolly Rogers. Okay. That's what he's trying to do. Whereas Prince John his job is to have at least 20 powers and Robin Hood in jail. Okay. And so you have your own deck of cards. So Ursula has her own deck of cards, or whoever. Who was I talking about? Prince John. Let's do Prince John's cards. Every time you play, you are moving your piece to different parts. Sometimes there's different, like you need to collect different cards on your game board. So basically you sit with your game board in front of you and you are moving your piece around and trying to collect different cards. And by having the different cards, they get to be played in different ways. And this one's going to have, like, at one point there's going to be a Robin Hood, but you can't have Robin Hood if you don't have two allies who are friends who are going to help you defeat Robin Hood. You also, like, this would be like Nutsy is one of your allies. So you have to get these different cards, but then there's also hero cards that sometimes you get played against you. And this one says, like, you can't defeat Skippy. Or this one is an effect card that says you have to steal from the rich and you can steal power points from somebody. So there's all these different things that happen, but you're playing your own game. So my goal is different than your goal, which is different than your goal. So you might need 15 power. I need 12, but I have to find this one specific card, or like there's different things. So when you buy the expansion packs, you're basically buying more villain cards to play with so that you have, like, you can play different characters. But it is very fun because, like, this is another game that I recommend watching a video on, because when we read it, I was like, I don't understand. Once we watch the video, we're like, oh, this is makes so much more sense, and it's so much more fun. And so it is, like, there's strategy because there's also things that I can do that, like, mess up other people and, like, prevent them from doing what they're doing. I can steal some of their PowerPoints and their different things. Like, it is a great game. We actually don't play this game enough, but we should, because it is so much fun. And like I said, you can get different ones. You can get Star Wars versions. You can get other, like, characters. So it's a great game and we really, really like it. But yeah, those are kind of my top games. Between this video and the last video, I think that's about 20 games. If you're looking for a new game to add, I highly, like, go through this video and last video, find a great game, add it to your basket for Christmas. Lots of those games are going to go on sale before Black Friday, being honest. They're so much fun. And we like to do, like, we try to do family game night once a week. It's our goal. We probably get to about 3 times a month, which I think is, like, pretty decent. Although you never know. Like, some days we're like, hey, let's play this and this, and we'll play 2 or 3 smaller, shorter games, right? And that's always fun too. So board games are great. They reinforce so many skills, and it's a nice way to, like, mix it up, have some fun as a family, teach some more skills, reinforce some new skills, and just have fun. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you click the bell and get notifications, because next week we are starting on a whole bunch of Christmas content. I'm talking gift lists. I'm talking all kinds of cool stuff that you guys have asked for Christmas content. If you have any Christmas content you want to hear about, please send me a link down below. I'd love to share. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I think we're gonna go play a board game. So see you guys later. Ciao.